Alright. I guess I really don't need this one, but you never know.
So, I know how you documentarians are. You record everything and you think the interviewee believes he or she is not going to be on
That is
film,
true.
but you use it anyway. So I know.
Plus, you never know if we've already started, because there is some like preliminary banter that happens that sometimes gets included.
Yes.
We've set the standard already in 4 or 5 podcasts.
I have seen the preliminary banter.
Yeah.
So.
Is this in case you have to do your Secret Service?
Oh, yeah.
Or,
Sorry.
If he at some point says Roger,
yeah.
then we know.
And touches his ear.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry. Yeah, I got it.
Dead giveaway.
Gotta go. Okay, so
We can start soon.
if we can start soon, then I want to say I love Norway. This is a wonderful sweater, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna take it off.
It's a little hot today, maybe.
I think even James Bond would take it off in these conditions.
And if you know the connection between this sweater, this designer, and James Bond, then send these guys.
Could it be Stian's mom? James Bond? Stian's mom? She knitted it, so maybe it's my mom.
Oh.
That's James Bond.
Your mom knitted this?
Yes. She
I
knits
thought
everything.
what's that?
She can knit whatever.
Oh, I thought this was
So
some big
Stian's
designer
mom
brand or something.
Sounds like
My
James
mom made
Bond.
it. So Stian's mom.
Stian's
James
mom.
Bond.
Is she
James
known-
Bond.
is
Stian's
she-
mom.
Is she 007?
Now I get it.
Okay.
I think Lena said Stian's mom.
Stian's
But
mom,
okay.
License to Kill. Got it.
So we're about to be
Okay.
set and ready.
Yes.
That's very good.
And I don't know if you guys have, but if we need to, can we edit?
We never do that.
But you could.
We could if we had to,
Right
but-
situation.
But I don't think we ever will.
Okay.
So it's got to be the first
It's the
take.
feeling, you know, because you know if you just gotta get through it. You can't go back in a live conversation with someone. You just gotta keep going.
I understand. I understand.
But it's okay because we're okay with imperfection, you know? We let the disc go and then things can happen. It could glance off a tree. It could be a very close to a good shot. And you have to just accept it.
Yes. There are parts of life and in general where it's very important to accept imperfection.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you look at something and say, it can always be better.
And now I've checked, like Santa Claus, checking it twice. So I've
Yeah.
checked the camera twice now.
Trace. Okay.
It's good. There is sound. There is, because you're a little bit more off now, but you're still in frame, Paul.
Come on in.
So then I guess it's time for you to
Here we
do
go.
your thing.
All right. Welcome to another exciting edition of Halfway Café, a podcast all about disc golf course design. I'm Paul Black, that's Stian Janssen, and we have a very special guest today. It's John Houck. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. I love Norway. I'm here with my new friends, and it's great to be here. And great to be part of what is probably the premier course design podcast in the industry.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Are there others?
Right. Oh, hey. Yeah. So, but yeah, why are you here? I mean, I know, but
Yes, you know. So this was going to be a long-planned, highly anticipated, and rather long trip to Europe for the first time. Dee and I were both very excited about coming. Unfortunately, she was not able to make it, and some things have come up at home of a work nature and of a personal nature, but we had committed to being here. We wanted to be here to see Lille Leland and to look at a couple properties around here for potential future courses, and to wish Paul bon voyage before he heads stateside for a few months.
All right.
So we timed it. So I really looking forward to going to Worlds and a few other places and seeing old friends and seeing I'm sure one of the premier events in disc golf history. UC was very generous with us and invited us to be here, and we really wanted to, but not going to happen this time. But Dee and I are both very much looking forward to coming back in the near future.
Yeah, amazing. I know personally I was really looking forward to meeting you. It's always a little weird when meeting one of your heroes, you know, like, is it going to be disappointing? But you turned out to be so cool.
It's only been a couple days.
I mean, it's kind of amazing. It's impressive. And watching you hike around this difficult terrain today, and just like I was impressed. Wow. And we've had a few conversations already about course design, and that has been just pure pleasure. So let's keep that going.
We like talking about course design.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had a nice walk today also.
We had a very nice walk today. Mm-hmm. And I guess we can say a little about it.
You can say whatever you like. Because I will say it's...
Stian has another part of his property that is not currently being used for disc golf that can be used for disc golf. And so that's part of why I was here this week, was to do... see it and do a little bit of an evaluation of it. And we saw a lot of remarkable things. I will say probably the most remarkable to me was every couple hundred meters we saw something new and different. And so, first part a little more open, newer trees, and then we get into the Luna.
Luna, yeah.
Sorry?
Luna.
Isn't that what I said?
Yes.
Kind of low, marshy areas, often created by beaver dams, but that can make great obstacles. Scattered rocks in spots, huge boulders in spots, very severe terrain, less severe terrain, different kinds of terrain combined. The place where there are only pine trees on the left and only oak trees on the right. Areas where it's big flat areas of basically just surface rock. And I thought, okay, at some point this property is going to repeat itself, but it never did. It's remarkable. So it has the potential to, I think, have 18 holes, all of different character, and probably all very high quality. And then when you get to the very end,
I said I got goosebumps on my ass.
he when we got close, we were almost at the end, and he showed me that he had goosebumps on his arm.
Yeah, he will often make this gesture and point to I have seen this before.
I thought maybe he was showing, but I mean, the hair was standing up on his arms, and with good reason.
But then the words that came out were, I have just goosebumps on my ass?
No. The first place was goosebumps on the arm, and then we looked and saw there was an even more elevated place, and that's when he started getting goosebumps in other parts of his anatomy. And that part of the property is not even to be disc golf course, but I mean, you can say if you want what kind of purpose you might want to use it for, but it is gorgeous up there, just gorgeous.
Maybe a lodge, maybe something, because that 360 view is. And then we realized when we turned the other way around, like, oh, there's even. Maybe we can't even see how far we can see because of the heat and the.
Right. No, and it's different from everything that came before it in terms of the terrain, and everything before it, you know, there's a lot of valleys, and even if you're up higher, there are trees. So, I mean, at best, there was a distant view, you know, over the top of some trees, but you get up to this last spot, and just it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. People are gonna love to come here and experience this place.
Yeah, can't wait. Yeah. But for now,
Yeah,
we are here and
goosebumps and shaking.
yeah. But going back to my mother, James Bond, as you call her.
Who knitted this beautiful sweater? Steon's mom. Sounds a lot like James Bond. Steon's mom.
John's mom.
Yeah,
That's
but my first question to you, I wrote. So let's use my mom as an example. Well, she knows some about disc golf. She knows how a disc looks and a basket looks, and she's been the attendee at Halfway Café and knows how a disc golfer looks. Or, well, with a bag, you know.
Yeah.
But how would you introduce yourself to someone you meet for the first time that does not know about disc golf? For instance, my mother. Hello, my name.
Hi, I'm John. I mean, I introduced myself to Lena's aunt, Anne Marie. That's it.
And then I would ask, what do you do for a living?
And I would say, have you heard of Frisbee golf?
Oh, so you say Frisbee golf?
Still generally the first time. Now, sometimes, no, that's not true. I usually say, have you heard of disc golf? And if they have a blank stare, then I try Frisbee golf. And if it's not happening at that point, then I start explaining to it. Yeah, that thing.
You do have a very Texas charm, like this southern hospitality that I refer to sometimes.
Oh.
That I related to well as a fellow partially Texan anyway.
Yes,
from
an El Paso.
Yeah, which is sometimes not considered part of Texas, but it really is. And but I picked up on that right away.
Well, I appreciate that, and as just for the record, and as many of your viewers probably know, I am originally from Buffalo.
Yeah.
And this is the year. Josh Allen and the boys.
Here we go.
Yes, I'm not gonna have to buy one of those shirts that say "Please once just before I die," because we're ready.
Maybe you grew up in Buffalo, but you arrived with jalapenos. So
yeah, I arrived here with jalapenos.
Yeah.
Yes, and I knew I was a Texan the first time I saw myself putting jalapenos on a tuna sandwich. So yeah, it didn't take that long. But what is truly amazing these days is after 40 years of explaining to almost everybody what disc golf is, I have had so many instances where I'm on a plane and talking to the person next to me, and when we get to the point where they say, "What do you do?" and I say, "Disc golf," and they say, "Oh my God, my discs are under the seat." I mean, I had a 30-year-old woman who said, "My discs are under my seat. As soon as we land, I'm going to the course to meet my coworker, and we're going to stay until the boss calls us and tells us we have to come back to the hotel." And I've had multiple experiences like that. And this woman and her boyfriend and another couple have played 5 days a week, maybe 7 days a week for like 4 or 5 years. And that's not unusual anymore in a lot of places. So, I mean, I've been places where it's still, 1970, and you have to explain to them what it is, but it's remarkable. And I sat next to a guy from Florida who said, "Oh, I've played here, I played here, I played here, I'm going here," and we talked about disc golf the entire flight. And the lights came on, and we stood up, and we're ready to get our luggage out of the overhead, and a voice behind me says, do you think Ricky's going to come back from his Lyme disease?
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, so here's another disc golf fan who knows, not a longtime player, who knows all about the Pro Tour and knows Ricky's sick, and just it's a new world. It really is.
And he has.
And he absolutely has, which is great. I was so happy to see him win last summer at the festival, right?
He won in Tallinn and Krakow.
Yeah, so it was great to see him
Swedish Open,
come back.
Maybe also, or was that just the course record? He did course record, like on every course he played, it seemed like.
Yeah, he'll shoot hot. So the sport has spread, and partially because of your efforts. You've been part of this thing for a long time.
I have, and there was a big change in my career 20 years ago when I met Dee, and when she joined the business. She always has had a vision for what disc golf can be more on a social level, right? I mean, I'm more focused on what it can be on a design level, and when she got involved, she was involved in World's Biggest the first year, which would have been 2006, because we met in 2005. And she invited the ambassador from Malta, I think it was, who was living in Austin. And, has had this vision for bringing in every demographic. And, from what we would think of the more traditional disc golfer to people who are, more country club type people. And so she's talked to, the 500 plus parks departments by now, and she is an amazing educator. So, I do what I can. I've written articles and been in leadership positions, but these days she's really the one who's out there, and course design education, right? She started the workshops. She started the course design conference, the 3 Disc Golf Course Design Conference, that will be in Columbia, Missouri in mid-October this year. Please join us. But the first one was in Austin, the second one was in Maple Hill, last year was in Jefferson Parish, actually January of this year, just south of New Orleans, and then we'll be in Columbia, Missouri at beautiful Harmony Bends, which I know you're familiar with. So, we both do what we can. Mine is more on the ground, and hers is, wide stretch of demographics and areas. So we all...
That is pretty remarkable how, so many courses and new courses are popping up, that a disc golf course design conference can be a thing, even a podcast about it can be a thing.
Right.
And so in Norway right now, there's 100 new courses per year.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and that's just a small Scandinavian country. And so it's just continuing to grow.
Continuing to grow, and one of the things that's really gratifying for us is that whether it's a parks department or a private venue, they are all beginning to understand that if you make a better course that's going to bring more people into town, you're going to have happier players, and there is finally enough of a financial incentive to make a really good course that cities, counties, states, private property owners are willing to make the investment, knowing it's gonna have a return for them.
Yeah. So when did you start? When did your course design career begin? When did you know this is?
Well, I played my first tournament in 1978, the Western New York Open in Buffalo, and I think I ran my first tournament as a TD in college in 81, 82. After college, I moved to Austin, and I took over running the state overall championships, because back in those days, Yeah, I'm sorry. I moved there in '82. Ran my first tournament in '84. But back in those days, pretty much everybody did everything. You played disc golf, you did freestyle, you played ultimate, MTA, DDC. So we needed a place where we could do all of those things. There was one course in Austin at the time. There's that ghost again.
Yeah.
There's a ghost knocking over discs.
There was one disc golf course in Austin, which was at Bartholomew Park, but we needed a place where we could do distance and all the other field events, so I was able to acquire Zilker Park, and so I had to design a course there for the tournament. And so we started, it went well, and we started having tournaments there 2-3 times a year, and after 3 years, the Parks Department said, maybe we should make this permanent. So that was my first permanent course, and after that, the phone kind of started ringing every once in a while. So I enjoyed that, but I mean, I was a distributor, selling discs. I was running the Circular Skies Tour. I was running the World's Biggest. I was running the amateur doubles. So I had my hands in a lot of pies, as many people in our industry do, and especially did back then. And then when I met Dee and she joined the business, she said, "You're doing too much. If you had to pick one, which would it be?" And I said, "If I had to pick one, I'd pick course design." And she said, "Okay, let's make that happen." And she had to twist my arm to agree to put my name in the name of the company, Houck Design, in case anybody didn't know. And it's been just pretty much focused on that. So, you know, we run a few tournaments here and there. She brought World's Biggest back this year, which is incredible. That has a very bright future as a nonprofit. And but yeah, hard to believe. Designed my first course 41 years ago now, and feeling very blessed right now. It's been a long road, but we are doing amazing projects. We're getting great properties with great commitments from the owners, whether it's private or municipal or counties, parish, whatever it is. So there's a lot of enthusiasm and appreciation for disc golf finally, and all these projects we're doing, they're all different from each other. I mean, we have 5 or 6 that are just incredible, and they're all different from each other. So it's a very exciting time to be doing this.
So you started a long time ago, and then okay, this is what is it about course design that wanted you to, okay, this is what I want to do, and why do you keep doing it?
Are you asking what my motivation is?
Maybe.
I haven't watched the whole motivation podcast yet, but I did during the Greens podcast. You guys went back and talked about that a lot. So it started as a way to grow the sport, more courses, bring in more people, and we all know, you know, we're all enthusiastic about it, and so we want to expose other people to it. I mean, we're all evangelists in a sense, and we want to, you know, we want to show other people this wonderful thing. And so that was one way to do it, and to provide a good experience for our friends who are players, because they need places to have tournaments. And you know, I got this idea in my head early on. Someday I want to run the World Championships. You know, be careful what you wish for. And I believe I'm still the only person dumb enough or determined enough to have run the Pro World Championships 2 years in a row. So that was really good. At some point, I kept looking at what I was doing and looking at other courses and thinking, okay, what's next? How do we make it better? How do we make it better for the players? Well, primarily, right?
Because it can always be better.
It can always. Are we giving away the ending? It can always be. It can always be better, and it's just really exciting for me to see what's next, and then try to take that step to get there. So course design is a way to provide something for the people who play, to provide something for people we want to play, right, and make it something that they'll enjoy and entice them to come out. And it's a real, I love the challenge and the opportunity to be creative. I've had some ideas that have been in my head for years, and I mean, I have sketches, that maybe I did years ago, and haven't had the opportunity to make those reality yet. And I may have seen a couple places today where some of those ideas can finally become a reality. So it was Passe. Who used the Rubik's Cube analogy, right? When you get everything to fit together, that's a good analogy. We talked about Scrabble, because I know that's important in your life these days.
the wordsmith.
Yes. And if you have 7 letters, and what's the best word you can make out of them, right? I mean, you can make a 4-letter word or a 5-letter word and probably be happy. But that's a big thing for me. Is I almost always get to a point where I go, that's really good. If we stop now, people would be happy. But
yeah, you used the Scrabble thing when we were taking our short little walk earlier today. And what did you say? You said you said something about there's something going on in my mind, and then something else happened, and then I said, okay, do you care to share? And then you said, I think it's like I get dealt 7 letters in Scrabble, and I know this is going to be amazing. I'm just not sure how.
Don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are...
That stuck with me. That was nice.
Yeah, well, there are a couple places that we saw today where, and I told you, one particular idea that I've always wanted to do. I've only been able to do it in smaller versions, and I saw some places today where that could happen. But I don't want to walk away from a project until I feel like, okay, that's the best I can do. And that means beating your head against the wall a lot and having ideas that won't work, or having ideas that do work, but maybe they can be better. And you go back to the drawing board, and it can get very frustrating at times, but ultimately it is. I've never solved the Rubik's Cube, but I imagine it is, to get to where you think everything fits together the way it's supposed to. That's a good feeling.
That brings to mind something I've noticed, just kind of observing the way you process things, and I've been learning a bit about this aspect of Norwegian culture, where the milkmaid takes the cattle or the goats into the higher country and spends the summer months there, where the wildflowers and the grasses make for the best milk. And the milkmaid is up there making the cheese and the butter. And one lovely milkmaid told me that in the old days they would use butter for currency. And then if it wasn't aged 20 years, it wasn't good butter.
20-year-old butter.
Yes,
Oh.
and the cheeses and also the meats were aged, salted and hung, and so it was basically the slow food movement, and now everything we want it fast and maybe too processed. But it made me think about the slow disc golf design movement, and I noticed how patient you are. And in one case, we were standing on hole 6 on the gold layout here, and you were kind of studying the gap between two trees, and you said I could give you my first impression, but if I was going to make a determination or an actual decision about something, I would have to stand here for an hour and take this in and run through, maybe shift over here 6 feet and shift over here, and a lot to consider. But what I notice is you're patient.
That's a good word. Stubborn. I mean, for me to do the best that I can takes time, because you have to run through a lot of possibilities. And sometimes you think you're out of possibilities, and you have to keep an open mind and, be willing to try other things. You wind up going down a lot of blind alleys and starting over and throwing things out, so it can be frustrating. But yeah, for me to do the best I can do, it takes a lot of time. But I'm willing to do it to get to that point where I think I'm happy. And just to be clear, that example that you gave is a good one. I wouldn't spend an hour on that one gap, but we were looking at an opportunity where somebody had missed the fairway, and we wanted to give them hypothetically an opportunity to recover. And so if somebody lands here and I open up that, 6-7 foot gap for them, 150 feet away, and they've still got a ways to go to get to the green, then if they make a great shot, they can get back in business and save their birdie or save their par. But if somebody lands over here or over here, I want to make sure that they have that opportunity too. And the person who made the smaller mistake should get the easier opportunity. They all missed the fairway, so that we don't want to make it too easy. And the people who made the bigger mistake should have to make the best shot of all. And if you take away one tree to take care of this lie, then maybe you make it too wide for one of the others. So I want to make sure that they all have some opportunity, and it takes time to make sure that they, as much as possible, they all get the opportunity to recover that we can provide for them. And I know what you're thinking. If we just put down some rope and call that area OB, then we don't have to worry about any of that.
Then we just punish the bad shot with a stroke.
Every bad shot gets a stroke.
That's the fast food solution. We, taking a little more consideration, a little more time to think about fairness in this context, where you want to reward the slightly bad shot a little better than the terrible.
But I like how we are second time, because last episode we were also on hole 6.
Oh,
no, not the last one, the one before with Eli, the greens one. We're talking about the green, and when we played the hole with Eli, we got up there and we're like, oh, this OB, and then we just moved the OB.
That's
so that was
the
a
one
fast,
that you moved.
Yeah, so that was a fast change.
Yeah.
And then we played, well, Paul played, me and John walked, and I threw a little bit, but never mind. We walked and played hole 6, and then looked at it, talked about it, and then now we're just taking all of the OB out.
Good. So Eli loosened the lid.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm the one who opened the lid, but I probably couldn't have done it without Eli. But I mean, I don't know how much we want to go into it, but it is a serious issue. One of my one that I feel more strongly about than just about any. You know, there's a lot of discussion about should we try to be like golf? Are we so different from golf we shouldn't even think about it? And look, we should get good ideas from anything that's successful, right? I mean, whether it's the 3-point line or a design potentially in a video game, wherever good ideas come from. In our case, you know, our cousin has had 400 years to figure a lot of these things out. And so there are things about golf that I think are still, they do better than we do. I think there are things that we do better than they do. But one of the great things about golf is you can make a small mistake, which would put you in the first cut or maybe in the sand trap. And if you make a great shot, you can recover. And I really think our game is better if we can emphasize that. A player makes a little bit of mistake. They're now off their game plan because the plan was to land here in the fairway and then throw the shot up to the pin. But, you know, you don't plan for this shot or this shot or this shot. I mean, you're aware that it could get there, but you can't practice them all in your practice round. So, especially with players at the top level, you put them in a position where they have to be creative now, and some of the greatest shots that people make are scrambles.
And some of the most entertaining shots for the spectator too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think when you put down a rope and say, no, you don't play from there, bring it back in and throw from here, and oh, by the way, put a stroke on your card, that deprives the player, it deprives the spectator, and so we want the, for lack of a better term, we want the punishment to fit the crime. You make a small mistake, and it's not even punishment. You make a small mistake, we want to give you an opportunity to make up for it and make a great shot. And you know, nobody is sitting around with the friends after a round going, oh man, I threw my drive right down the middle, I threw my second shot under the basket, and I dropped it in, right? They say, oh my God, I hit a tree, it kicked me into the shul, I had, you know, this is all I had to work with, and I had to throw a sidearm at this angle, at this speed, with this disc, that was my only hope, and I did it.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what you feel good about.
Yeah, you're right.
So, and those are the moments that make it fun and exciting and keep people coming back. So it's a big thing for me to plan that, you know, certain percentage of shots are going to miss the fairway. That's part of the game, and let's make this an opportunity for the player and the spectators. And I think that makes a better game, all for everybody.
And you do have a certain level of influence, because now we're taking the OB away from 6, moving the basket on 16 and taking the OB away from 16. So there's 2 hole, we're definitely taking it away, and the jury's still out on 15 because there's just too many options to. Even though we did some blitz course design, we still have to.
But we went through all those possibilities based on how do we keep the basic concept of the hole and do it without the OB.
Yeah.
So if you would like to purchase 1 meter of OB rope, that has been taking off of Lily Leland. Talk to Stian; he'll get you a souvenir.
And we have really nice OB sticks because they're made of oak from just behind hole 2, and
it'd be a great fundraiser.
Could be
the OB sticks from Lily Leland.
Amazing. We'll just put them in the pro shop.
Yeah,
a bucket. You need some OB sticks? We've got RPM baskets too.
They will last at least 40 years. I guarantee they're oak.
So yes, a little piece of history. I seriously, I love the fact that you're willing to make that change, that you see the benefits of doing less OB rather than more. I applaud you.
Thank you. Is it time to get into the topics?
I was about to ask, because usually somewhere halfway through the episode we realize there is a topic.
There is a topic.
What is the topic?
But we also have so we can lure people onto the YouTube. We need to talk about things on the table.
So here comes the visual description aspect of the podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, we've got a Magic of Disc Golf disc in a beautiful platinum plastic from RPM. In case you don't know, Stian is the filmmaker, producer, and editor of the popular series found on DGN. 8 episodes of very entertaining stuff, storytelling about mainly European players, and even starts with Christopher Hivju, the famous actor.
Yeah, but he's not on the table.
Yeah, but we have a couple of trolls, which I think have appeared in a previous episode.
Yeah, the trolls. Trolls are back. We have some caddy books, actual caddy books.
Yeah, who really does a caddy book anymore? And so big too.
John pointed out
It's not going to fit in
11 by. No, you have the numbers on that.
11 by 18. I think.
8.5 by 11.
Oh, 8, yeah.
Assuming that European paper is the same size as U.S. paper,
A4.
and it's beautiful.
And we have the microphone stand is back.
Yeah.
It's been out for 2 episodes, but now it's back.
Yeah.
The Bistro Paris microphone stand, some candles, and a pass dispenser for some reason. With, I can't remember his name, Stuart maybe?
Okay.
And Disc Golf History by Patrick Arve and David Stark. You know this? Swedish disc
No,
golfers?
I mean, it's amazing. It's huge.
Yeah.
I did not know that it exists, and it's very impressive on your table.
I would let you read it if you know how to read Swedish. So maybe next time you can do some Duolingo preparation. Yeah, and a coffee filter and some other things. So you're just gonna have to go to the YouTube to see all these amazing things.
And this is the first time we've filmed in the clubhouse here at Little Lilan.
Yeah.
Which is a fine lounge space, including a kitchen and a pro shop.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fun in here, even a rope swing. So
we gotta have a rope swing.
It can get crazy.
Some Wall of Fame things.
Yeah. So,
It's nice.
So my question is, where is the next podcast? When is the next podcast? And you're going to be on a different continent.
Yeah,
is there a virtual
No, we don't
version
do that
coming?
because reception and am I glitching? No,
Yeah.
we lost him.
It's irritating.
Yeah.
But I have given Stian the permission, if something should come up, he could just do the episode without me, as long as he mentions, Paul's not here. Then I'll be able to watch at home.
And I'll put my hat backwards and try and do the intro and.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm included in a way.
Yeah.
So no harm done.
We'll see. We're going to the Worlds, and I'm bringing the camera. We're also going to the Future of Disc Golf Week at Åland, so bringing the camera there. So we'll see.
Yeah, a lot's going to happen in my absence, and that's fine. But I'll be coming back. And,
I have a better. I would rather just say, okay, this was season 1, a short pilot season,
yeah.
and then when you're back, season 2.
Oh well, I'm honored.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else will be back also later in the year.
Okay.
We'll see. Jury's still out. Maybe.
So
Or maybe.
that brings us to the topic.
The topic. We talked about the level of difficulty, I think. Now, the way you're looking at me, I'm unsure if we agreed on that.
Oh no, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're designing, of course you're considering, am I designing this for a blue player, a beginner, or should this test the skills of the very best? And so when I think mainly around here, though we have done the red layout, that's fun for everybody. We really get a kick out of designing a hole to test the very best, and the question comes up, like, what might Gannon Burr do on this hole, or what might AB do, here, because now these players have got so good that the design has evolved. And you would know this better than anyone, I think.
Well, it's my job to know it.
And I know you keep track of these players, and you can adjust what you're doing.
Right. So as far as the top players, I am working on maybe 4 or 5 courses now where the owner is interested in potentially hosting a pro tour event. So, in most cases it's just a hope that it'll happen sometime, but they want to make a course that will accommodate that. We are always very particular about trying to accommodate a variety of skill levels. I don't know that we've ever, well, other than W.R. Jackson, may it rest in peace, I don't believe I've ever done a course that didn't have brand new players in mind, with shorter tees and or shorter baskets. And I was very gratified when I saw somebody online who said, I've only been playing disc golf for a few months, and I love it, and I only play the red tees at my home course, Harmony Bends, which I was very glad to hear, because people like to think, oh, it's a big championship course, there's a bunch of par 4s and par 5s, it's not good for beginners. But that's like saying golf is not good for beginners, right? I mean, I never got very good at golf, but I enjoyed playing. I'm not going to play it from the back tees, but just because, you have par 4s are the most prevalent hole in golf, and in my mind should be the most prevalent hole in disc golf. So for a new player to play a 400-foot par 4, to where they learn to throw 200 feet with some accuracy, they can get a birdie. That's where we want to be now. to try to make an appropriate challenge for the top players in the world, that's a very different animal. And by the way, today, if you are making something that's appropriate for the top players, you're also making something that's appropriate for spectators, which was never an issue. And I've already had a few times where I said, this area would be great for spectators because it's a little elevated, it's got some slope, so that based on my own personal experience, I know that shorter spectators, if they're in the third row, can't see anything. So, if you have a little bit of slope that people can stand on, then more people can see, they get a better view of what's going on. So, whereas I would normally say, wow, that's a great place to put a hole potentially, now we have to make that decision. Is it better to put the players here and the spectators here, or give this to the players and put the spectators there? So it's a whole new dimension to design. That's really interesting and challenging.
It's another letter on your Scrabble tray.
It's like a second Scrabble tray. I'm like Magnus, right? Playing multiple boards at the same time. You're playing multiple Scrabble at the same time. I'm not comparing myself to Magnus Carlsen, right?
Yeah, the chess.
The chess word.
Yeah.
So I was actually working on one last week, and I find myself going, well, 450 off the tee, 400 to the pin, that's an 850-foot par 5 in a wooded environment. That's way more than we ever used to do. But I look at it and go, if the lines are fair and the landing area is fair, and that's not unreasonable to ask of these guys, because a 400 foot par 3, there are par 3s of that length that have a very high birdie percentage, because it's just not a big deal for a lot of players anymore. So there's a lot to consider, because it's not all about distance by any means, especially in a wooded environment. Disc golf is best when players have to think about what's the best way to play the hole, and I always like to give them multiple options, almost always, off the tee and then to get to the pin. So we want them to have to do some decision making, and then what's the right distance, what are good shapes, what is the right width of gaps. I'm working a lot now on where is the key width, right? A lot of times it's, within 50 feet of the tee, you have to, miss trees that are right there. But sometimes it's, you have cool holes where the thing you really have to be concerned about is a gap that's 350 feet down the fairway, and that's a different feel, and it's a different thought process, which adds to the variety of the whole thing. So I'm doing a lot of work with that. Also, putting people in scramble opportunities, which I refer to as a what's the word? Starts with P.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
Oh, I was hoping we would get to this very long acronym.
It is a very long acronym.
Because I've heard nags, not a golf shot.
Right.
Nags, but Pittsburgh, like that's a lot of letters.
We discovered this on hole 6 when we were talking about those trees in the gap.
So I am gratified that these days you can put nags in your search engine and you will get hits.
Oh, nice.
Stands for not a golf shot. We talk about holes that are tweeners.
Yeah.
It's like a full drive but only half an approach shot. You're going to get up and down every time. It's too...
oh, this is perfect.
Hi.
We were talking about this might happen.
Yeah, we might get in the middle of the podcast.
We're recording a podcast on
live disc golfers.
That's okay.
But now you have to show yourself so that the viewers know that.
How was the round?
It was really good.
Okay.
Best course in Norway I've been to so far.
Okay.
Best course.
Best course I've been to, actually.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are they in the frame?
No, you have to move it.
Come over.
Oh, there you are.
Best course by far.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you met Stian?
No.
Design.
There, the designer.
You've never met before. He did not pay you to make that endorsement.
Just randomly come in and.
Yes.
Hallo,
Oh, I'm John.
Vega.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you.
Sorry?
Maren.
Malin. Very nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
And we met
You know
because
Paul.
I'm the course manager and I'm welcoming tourists, and these guys came in and wanted to play, so they played. How did it go?
Beautifully.
Okay, good.
It was a great property.
Yeah,
Yeah, really.
for sure.
And
The landscape and
yes,
everything,
yes,
of course.
yes.
It's really nice.
Did you play red layout?
Yeah, red.
Right on.
Oh, well, there may be better courses in your future on the same property
Okay.
that you might enjoy even more.
Did you need some OB sticks to take back to your home course? Just kidding. But there's some ice creams in the freezer in case you need
That's
something.
actually why we're here.
Okay. Yeah, grab what you need. And it's all on the Vips.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, well, I was wondering if it was possible to buy a disc as well.
Yeah,
Of course.
Get a disc. We'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Take what you need.
Thank you.
You got it. Amazing.
Perfect. Why not?
See, there's no editing.
Yeah, no, you don't want to edit
This-
that part. And totally unsolicited endorsement. So we were talking about nags in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
So I think you can also put Pittsburgh disc golf in your search engine, and you'll get hits for that one too.
Okay.
So Pittsburgh is, well, just what we were talking about on hole 6. It's kind of the disc golf version of the first cut or maybe a sand trap. The idea being that you make a small mistake and we're going to give you the chance to be a hero and save your birdie or save your par. Pittsburgh stands for place increasing the throwing strategy by offering recovery options. So it's actually 9 letters. It's too long for Scrabble. Well, there could be existing letters on there that you could.
First you go pit and then pits.
And then go to Pittsburgh.
And you get all the points multiple times.
And
by offering recovery options.
Yes. Thank you, guys. And so what's amazing about it, God, the universe works in incredible ways. The first Pittsburghs I ever made were in Pittsburgh, North Carolina.
That's incredible.
It was so cosmic. And basically what it was we set it up. The first one was on hole 1, where if you miss the landing area by a little bit right, it slopes down to the right. We made sure that we cleared some gaps, just like we were talking about. So you miss the fairway a little bit, you're going to have to hit a tight gap, but if you do that, you can still save your birdie. And if you miss high on the left side, we made a couple gaps, you hit those, and you can still be a hero. And it was a very gratifying moment for me. The legendary Hall of Fame designer and player Stan McDaniel, who's a North Carolina guy, came by. I showed him the course. I showed him the concept of the Pittsburgh. And a few weeks later, I got a text from Stan saying I just put a Pittsburgh on my new course. Yeah. So that was great. So
what a brilliant innovation that now hopefully anyone who's listening can incorporate into their own design.
Right. And what I was leading up to, because we're talking about appropriate difficulty and how we deal with the Pro Tour, a Pittsburgh does not need to be gaps. I'm working on a few now where if you miss the fairway, we put a retaining wall on the edge of the fairway in Connecticut at the Easy Does It course, which will probably be opening in 2026. But so if you miss the fairway, you're down probably almost 5 feet below the fairway. So you're probably going to have more trees to deal with, but you're also just going to have that deficit of trying to throw over a 5-foot wall in front of you. I know a 5-foot wall is more daunting for me than it is for you, but I stood on something to make sure it was still daunting. And something that Stian and I had been talking about, where if you miss the fairway a little bit, you're on a slope. And enough of a slope, we're trying to get to the point where the slope is severe enough that it's going to cause you to adjust your stance and or run up. But it's gradual enough that it will hold discs, right? We don't want somebody misses the landing area and they hit the slope and they just roll back down into the landing area. But those are also Pittsburghs, because you've missed the fairway, but if you are able to do a standstill or deal with that elevation differential, we're giving you a recovery opportunity.
Yeah.
So there's the row. So that's really big for me, and one of the things that will allow us to do is make it a really good challenge to hit the landing area, because we know that if you miss the landing area, now there could be magic and fireworks. And if you have a course where you miss the fairway and you're just in the shul and you got to pitch back, or because of pace of play concerns, they're going to rope it off and then make you pull it back in the fairway. You know, having that important feature off the fairway allows you to make this a little bit harder and still know that it's all going to work out. So, you know, there are a couple other things that people may not think about when you're trying to get appropriate challenge for a division. So let's say these top MPO players have to hit a 6-foot gap from 250 feet, and maybe the FPO, if it's a drive, they're going to hit the same gap from 200 feet, whatever. But when you get to the new players, you're going to almost always move them up, but you put the tee in a place where they're shooting through a 10-foot gap, right? They're not trying to hit that same gap. So you give them, and I know, you have red holes that are completely different 100% from the gold holes, or probably in some cases the white holes. I don't know that I've ever done that yet. Usually my my shorter tees are versions of the same hole, and especially on a par 4, using the same landing area and all that. But I mean, you've done some really neat things on your red course, I think.
Yeah, also on the white, and the idea behind this, and I think we'll do a little bit also on the blue, is to get players to want to come back or stay longer or spend more time here. That right. It's not whatever difficulty of the layout you play. It's the same course. You can play white, and it feels in many ways like thunder. Feels in many ways like a different course, or like at least a few different holes. The red has 8 unique holes, and the white has some couple of tees at least that are, the tee shot is vastly different.
Right, and I think that also, when you have people who are playing gold, it makes the white course interesting for them in a different way. Or people are playing the white course, it makes the red course different for them.
And it makes it interesting for a club maybe to come the whole club or a national team to use it as a training facility, because they can practice so many different
For
shots.
Example, maybe a flex sidearm. You might have a red hole, and there might be 3 people in this room who need to practice their flex sidearms, based on playing that hole. So there's a lot of factors involved. I almost always, just because of how it's worked out over the years, almost every course I've done in the last 20 years, the long tee is made for blue players, right? Which is generally around 950, which is, top advanced regional pros, and as it turns out, perfect for FBO. So a lot of the courses I've done, those tees are already great for the FBO, but we have to do a lot more to make the course right for MPO at the top level.
But you're on something interesting now, because then like I see many times, is you're on a course and you play a few holes and alright, I can get this, and it's nice, and then all of a sudden like, whoa, Gannon would even struggle here.
Yeah.
Like, how do you take that into consideration? Because my thinking is you can have easier holes, but you shouldn't have holes that are like, whoa, way off the scale on the difficult level for distance, for instance, or
right. So, and that's the main reason why almost every course I've done, the longest tees are the blue, so that nobody's, and some are easier and some are harder. That's part of good balance and design, but nobody's going to go whoa, nobody can do that.
Hmm.
And one of the things I love about what you're doing is you talk to everybody when they come up, explain to them the different layouts and what it means and what kind of skill it takes, because there are people in the world who will just say, well, I want to play the hardest layout. And for example, this course, St. John's in Florida, that I've been working on, if you're playing the gold level, I mean, you have 400-foot water carries that and pin positions near the edge of bodies of water, which often have alligators. And you need to be a highly skilled player to hit that green with a high degree of success. And so if you want to go play the gold course, I mean, you're going to get killed. Mm-hmm. So you take the time to educate everybody ahead of time about what the options are, and really one-on-one encourage them to play the one that's right for them, because a lot of people will not play the one that's right for them. And I spend so much time trying to make sure that I have a layout that's right for you. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to go play something that, I mean, it's not about me, but you're going to get close to 0 birdies if you play this set of tees. And if you play, this set of tees where the challenge is appropriate for where you are now, then if you don't get several birdies, then that's on you.
Yeah,
but you should be able to.
When I'm explaining the different layouts to the visitors that come here to Lily Leader, I'll recommend the white layout because it's more appropriate for a 900 rated player. And I'll say you get the gold experience, but the tee pad's a little closer or the basket is different, so you feel better about yourself. Because we want you to have fun. I'm like selling it, kind of, and it usually works, but because now they are going to have more fun.
Right.
They might get a few birdies. They're probably not going to lose as many discs. All this kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, and that's something I don't think about a lot, and it's really big here. I know is, we don't want you to spend a lot of time looking for your disc. Yeah. So that's a real motivator to get people on the right tees.
Yeah, at least tell them that. But you, Paul, you now this season you're flying back home tomorrow, getting out of Schengen for a few months, so you can come back to Schengen in a few months. And you meet a lot of people, you greet a lot of people, but also you take care to, if possible, catch them after the round.
That's true.
To hear what their experience was like with the 2 people that were just here.
Yeah.
And do you get a sense of, like when you recommend them something, that it was a smart or good thing? Are they more happy or less? Like, how do you...
Well, case in point here, they had a great time on the red layout. And I didn't have to do a lot of convincing with them, but that's why you spent a lot of time creating the red layout, because we want to have local players, we want to have visitors who are new to the sport still have a good time here. And the gold isn't going to be the right layout for them. But there are plenty of people who come to visit and they'll say, I'm not the best golfer, but I really want to do the gold. Because they've seen it on coverage of the RPM Open. And so we've given the warning, but they want to do it. And I can understand that feeling a little bit myself. Because when I played Harmony Bends, for example, back in the day, I was maybe like a 930 rated golfer, but I wanted to experience what it was like.
Well, and blue should have still been pretty good for you.
It was great, and maybe I got a few birdies, and then got punished on a few holes when I didn't throw a good shot, and I maybe had a recovery option.
I hope so.
But yeah, I think when you take the time to engage them after the round, there's just something about that extra hospitality where they feel like, you know, we do listen to their feedback, and
No,
this is the kind of a special place to play.
I personally have never experienced a team that actively solicits feedback, takes it very seriously, and when appropriate, implements the suggestions on the course. And I know you get it from people who haven't been playing disc golf very long, and top players as well.
And it might not be about the design per se, but there's little things that we haven't maybe overlooked, like signage, getting from this basket to that tee, you know, or
Right.
or just like down from gold down the fairway, and oh, well, shoot, we need a sign there. And so little things like that do make a difference. And so
And like on hole 2 gold, I made a bridge. 2 days later, I played with a local guy, Lars, and he was walking maybe 25 feet to the right, and there was no bridge, and he was like, "Why is there no bridge here, Stian?" And I like, and he just proceeded to walk over the creek with no bridge, and 2 stars, you know. And then, all right, I'll give him a bridge. So I built a bridge, and it's gonna get a sign, and it's gonna be called Holton Bridge. And the bridge is there, the sign is coming. But that was kind of, I'm not sure how serious he was, but it is a way of, it's also my kind of humor, because I reused some materials, and the bridge looks kind of nice, the second bridge. So now when your shot is a little bit to the right, so maybe that's a term I'm going to coin, the Holton Bridge.
The whole time, yeah.
But you have a bridge, but we need a second Holton Bridge. Because players that land over here now have to walk here and there, and you see what I'm saying? So you should get a Holton Bridge.
yeah,
So
and
get
it
a
was a
Holton
few
bridge.
days later I was out there and I noticed there could have been a third bridge. And I said 3 bridges is better than 2.
Okay. It can always be better, and you can always go too far.
Yeah,
Maybe.
So may I say 2 more things about appropriate difficulty
Please.
before we move on?
please, yeah.
Because I want to make sure to talk about risk and reward, and just this whole thing of make it harder. You know, we need to make it harder. I mean, I've had clients say, I want the hardest course possible. You really don't. You know, hitting a 5-foot gap 375 feet off the tee is very hard, and that's why we don't do it, because it's not. It becomes a matter of luck. So there are a lot of ways to make it challenging and enjoyable without just being hard for the sake of hard. So we would do well to get rid of that mindset, because one of the things that results from that is we want to make it harder. So, you know, tighten up the rope, right? You mentioned that today, or you know, make the angle crazy hard. So challenging is good. Challenging is what we want, but also fair and
Fun.
fun. A Pro Tour course doesn't have to be super fun, but I mean, there's no point in making a Pro Tour course that the players don't enjoy. They deserve to be able to enjoy it too. So, you know, keep it within appropriate limits. So, and you know, I want to have the hardest course in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Hardest golf course in the world, that's a little different. I saw a place that was promoting their course on that basis. That's fine.
I have heard a player say that players like birdies.
Pretty much everybody likes birdies.
Yeah. But I don't know if there's something there that, because you see many people talk about this and that, and I don't mind as long as the shots are enjoyable to watch, where you can, I have some words from Elias Lukkonen that I will read shortly. But as a viewer at home and on TV, if I've never been there, like when the shots are like a good shot is rewarded and there's a lot of birdies and even the winning score could be like minus a lot. What the winning score is not what makes me enjoy it or not. If that makes sense. Kind of even lost myself a little bit, but
No,
I think I follow.
it's not about the winning score. There is a mindset, and it's understandable if people are shooting 12 and 15 consistently. That's too easy. We don't like that.
but who doesn't like it? I don't know.
Well,
I could like it,
uh,
but yeah.
yeah, but not every time. Anyway, that's a good discussion. Future podcast when you come back in 3 months.
Yep.
So the other thing is, I think a lot of people have a different understanding of risk and reward. It's not, I walked across a busy street and I didn't get hit. I took a risk and I got the reward of getting to the other side. People think, okay, I'm going to try to hit that 5-foot gap, 375 feet off the tee, and if I make it, I get a reward. That's not risk. That's like throwing the dice. So risk and reward needs to be about, you evaluate what happens if I take this route over the water or whatever it might be. And if I execute it, then my reward is going to be I'm closer to the basket, or I'm in a more open area. I'm going to have a better chance of getting the birdie on the hole. Or it could be a par 3. If I go out over the water and I hit circle 1, then I took that risk. If you don't execute, then you're going to hit a tree. You're going to be in the water. So, risk and reward always has to involve a downside, and it's not a risk unless there is another less risky option. So I can go out over the water, or I can play it safe. You want to design the hole so that if somebody plays it safe and they execute that shot, their reward is maybe circle 2. But the whole thing has to balance. You have to make a choice. There can't be one way to get to the hole, and I hit the tree and you didn't, so you took a risk and you were rewarded. No, you're just playing the hole. But if you pick one of 2 or more options, one of which could potentially cost you, but if you execute it, then you're happy. That's what it's all about. And people tend to think risk and reward is just there's one way to play the hole, and if you hit it, you get a birdie, and if you don't, you're in the shul, or hopefully the Pittsburgh. That's not risk and reward. So that's a big thing for me. Again, to make sure that if we offer those risks, right? And I know you're all about, let's get disc golf on TV and tell stories. And the classic saying is that golf. Am I going to get I'm going to take a risk. I have a 50-50 chance of getting it wrong, and I'm looking like an idiot on the premier course design podcast in the world. Golf doesn't build character; it reveals it. Right?
Right.
Did I get that right? It's either that, or I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
So when you put people for the purposes of TV, when you put players in the position where, okay, do I take that risk? And we were talking about that today on what a hole 18 might be, right? Somebody's down a stroke, and you give them the opportunity to take that risk, and if they execute, then maybe they make up the stroke, and we're going into a playoff. Or maybe that puts so much pressure on the leader that you have a two-stroke swing, and the reward for executing on that risk is you win the tournament. So that decision-making process and people making those bold choices, I think fits in with what you want to do, which is to tell a story. And players will tell a story about them and where they are in that moment when they make that choice. And if they make that choice and you can tell that they're jittery and the pressure gets to them, that tells a story too. And anybody can relate to that. Right? You don't have to be a disc golfer. You don't have to be a disc golf fan to get that. So I think there are things we can do in design that will help you, tell a story on camera. So
Yeah, I love that.
so that's the end of my monologue on risk and reward and things being hard's sake. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
We've previously asked other people for their opinions, and we still do. If you have opinions on other topics, please send them. So I have, I'm not sure how it started. Maybe I thought that this would be a good, I don't remember. But anyway, this is from Elias Lukonen. He's a very, very skilled commentator for MDG on the post-produced stuff they do, and also a very skilled player from Finland. So I sent him some questions like why do you want a difficult course? What makes a difficult course? Is there good difficult and bad difficult? Or do you have examples of really good difficult holes? So he answers, I think it is super important to have difficulty with well-defined lines to throw to make the disc golf more aesthetically pleasing, and also to separate the good from the normal players.
He's a smart guy.
He's young too, so it's impressive.
Yeah. If the holes are short, have no punishment for bad shots, then the good shots are not nearly as rewarding aesthetically, but not also score-wise. To me, the best kind of difficult is when the good shots are easy to understand from the bad ones, from a viewer's perspective.
Right.
Also, not for the top pros only. I think a casual player needs to play a really difficult course once in a while to understand the different levels in disc golf, whether for their own development or finding interest in pros playing.
Hey, you didn't need me. You just read his answers. Those are great.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah, I didn't consider that when I was thinking about the average player who wants to play the gold layout. That part of that is part of the difficulty they welcome is for the development of their own game, and to really fully appreciate the coverage that they've seen and the good players throwing this line that just seems so challenging when you stand on the tee. That's part of the pleasure of the experience that they have.
Yeah, because if you haven't, because on TV it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because you're only seeing the top cards. You're never seeing the ones that are struggling. You can on some post-produced, like what is it called when they're playing with normal players?
Oh yeah.
On
Champs and
yes,
Chumps.
yes.
Yeah.
Brain fart. Yeah, but most of the times you just see like amazing players do. I just saw a video of Anthony Barella parking hole 17 at the Beast with the Luna, and on the video it's like, yeah, that's a great shot with the Luna. But I've been there. You just don't do that with a Luna. He parked, got in circle 1 on that crazy long, I don't remember the hole at Crocol. And on coverage it looks like, yeah, I could do that with a Luna. But if you've been there, you don't do that with the mid-range.
Yeah.
But you don't understand until you're actually there and try to empty your bag and you're only halfway, you know, and or like the shot shaping and getting it to land soft maybe on the green, and like the touch. I really like that because I remember Macbeth said that we've lost the touch, but maybe someone saw we bring back a little bit here and there.
I'm trying. It's not easy, especially with those players. That's a really good point. Right? So I said earlier, some people just want the hardest layout because they want the hardest layout, but there's a lot of people who I want to see the layout I saw my guys play on TV. So I mean, if you watch top players play hole 1 here on your course, and you know they're getting them up circle 2, circle 1, you have no idea.
It's true, and when I take people up there to show them, they'll often say the video doesn't do it justice. And they're, wow.
Right. So I my first time on that hole yesterday, and I saw a variety of players, several of whom had a last name of Janssen, of various ages, and they throw it and I go, wow, that's really good, and then and it winds up 200, 250 feet short,
At least.
or more. So
I think Casper threw the best drive out of all of us.
Casper threw a great drive.
Because you just want it to hold straight for a long time.
Right.
And then,
but it still was, to me, surprisingly short.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he nailed that one, but when it finally landed, it was still real short. So that gives you an indication about what it takes to play that hole.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I wrote down second chance. I don't know if you touched enough on it, but you did tell Paul, remind me to talk about giving players a second chance. Well, we kind of touched that, I think.
Yeah, we did, and at some point today when Lana was still with us, and I said,
"Rest in peace."
Still walking with us. Yeah, because we abandoned the hike at halfway.
Halfway? No.
Okay, 1/3.
Well, with good reason.
Yeah.
Right? She had an appointment.
Yeah.
Paul had to pack.
I failed because I'm a wimp.
No. You could have kept going. I know. You had to pack. So, I mean, maybe it's a point worth making, but she works with troubled youth, and people make mistakes. Parents make mistakes. Kids make mistakes, but people deserve a second chance. And disc golf should adopt that policy, not just for people who get suspended, but people who miss the fairway. Right? They don't make a good shot. They don't deserve to take a stroke or have to pitch back out from the shul. They deserve a second chance to get make a great shot and get back in business. That really is one of the great things about golf.
Yeah.
That we, for the most part, are still lacking.
It's one way I think a player grows too with their mental game. Because if, let's say, you shank a drive, how do you approach your next shot? Are you filling your mind with negative self-talk, or are you approaching the next shot with this attitude of now I have a chance for a great scramble. I'm gonna scramble from this difficult spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're developing as a player.
Yep. Yep. So we give them more opportunities to, right, not just execute great shots, but to grow mentally. And ideally, when you get that second chance, you still have options that you have to weigh, and some of them will involve more risk but more reward, and now you need to learn to, make the right choice.
Yeah.
You understand where you are in the round and what's working today and what's not.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe it's the smart move to take your medicine, as we say, and lay up to a spot where you can approach the green.
Yep.
Instead of trying to get it all done with a hero shot.
Yeah, and do you say as
So there's choices to be made.
right?
Yeah.
So I remember one NBA final where a top player had missed several 3-pointers and kept getting the ball outside the 3-point line, and had the choice of saying it's not really been working, or well, I'm bound to make one now.
Yeah.
And wound up making poor choices, but it's good, to put people in that situation, and you learn about yourself, and if we're watching and we're telling a story, you reveal that to the people who are watching. So it's good to do. I'm really excited about being able to do this on this. Actually, several of these courses I'm working on now. So, and by the way, because I know this is a huge issue here with both of you, it becomes a maintenance issue too. Because I've designed courses where I said, okay, this is the fairway, this is the Pittsburgh, and you need to maintain 20 feet back on both sides at all times, and that doesn't always happen. So I generally, I've started taking the approach that this is the fairway from a maintenance perspective, and we're maintaining all of this. So from the player's perspective, I hit the fairway, I'm in the Pittsburgh, but from a maintenance perspective, it's all, because you have people maintaining the courses who may not know about disc golf, understand it. So you have to, give it to them in a form that makes sense for them. And if you say, this is our fairway from edge to edge, please keep that. So
Right.
and then you have to not just make the right gaps for the players, you have to make the right gaps for the mowers,
Yeah.
right? Because they can't maintain it. They won't be able to maintain it
Yeah.
if they have to do 5 acres worth of weed eating every week.
Yeah.
That's in a lot of cases that's asking too.
Oi.
That's interesting.
All right.
Right. But the camera is on backup power supply, so
So we're in a thunderstorm.
we're in the dark. I'm just gonna check, but everything should still be
And
running.
maybe no one can see us, but they can still hear us.
And
Exactly.
if you're listening,
Go. Yeah, there we go. This is
if you're
exciting.
listening on Spotify, then nothing really happens.
Okay.
It's true.
So can we edit that?
No.
No.
Why?
That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. What was I gonna ask? Are you afraid of the dark? No.
Speaking of being afraid of things and maintenance issues, I talked to a maintenance supervisor whose crew was all very afraid of snakes, and occasionally they would see snakes on the course. And he said, "Where do you see them?" Well, a lot of times they're on the edges, so we don't want to go near the edges. So he said, start mowing in the center of the fairway and gradually work your way out, and you will not see any snakes. And since they adopted that policy, they have not seen any snakes. So if you have snakes and fearful maintenance people, that may be good advice for you.
Pro tip.
pro tip.
It is a good tip, and when I heard you mention it, because I was thinking, because with Simon et al. We were talking about many times we start on the edge, because then typically you have to finish, because otherwise it just looks terrible. But if you start in the middle, and I have to leave, then it looks more intentional. But I like the idea, because many times I see, oh no, there's a frog, or a toad, or a bumblebee, I hope he got away.
Yeah.
But
You just don't want to be a murderer.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's good motivation too. That is good motivation.
So you haven't watched the motivation episode, you watched the greens episode. And I haven't received any comments from you about the greens, so maybe you can do it now. What makes for the good disc golf green?
Oh my goodness.
Another.
Yeah. Where are we, by the way?
But there was a few points we mentioned, and you also talked about sand, and we've been talking about sand.
Yeah. So if the disc comes in and hits in the target area, that it doesn't glance off in a random way, that it might stick in the sand.
Well, yes, although you don't want somebody who's throwing a driver that's coming in at high speed in this angle and deserves to skip away.
Yeah, sure.
And actually, I had a friend who prefers not to be named at this point. I want to start using this feature and name it after him. That may be difficult, but how do you bring touch back into the game? And I've thought about bushes or something, in circle 2 or wherever, that will force people to get over it rather than just crashing in. If you crash in, you're going to hit this bush in circle 2. That's maybe not a super elegant solution in a lot of ways, but I like this one. He says put sand out there so that if somebody is deliberately trying to skip it up to the basket, they're going to stick. And so they have to, because that's a lot.
Like a donut of sand.
Potentially, right, or wherever it needs to be. Could be right, left,
section,
both,
yeah.
short.
Like we talked about pieces of the cake, or the.
That is a really interesting concept. But something, because people play the skip now. I mean, back in the days when it was stingrays and cobras, that wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
But now it's a huge thing, and not that there's a problem playing disc golf with skips, but we can bring more touch back in.
Seems like a golf.
Some places, you need to land. If you want to be in circle 1, you need to land in circle 1 and stay there. You don't want to, have it hit in circle 2 and skip up to the basket in some cases. So I think that's a really good idea. I'm more concerned about, because it's really important to me to take flukiness and randomness out as much as possible. And so, James Proctor was within 10 feet of the basket. I guess it's 14 maybe at Ivy Hill. And he put it in the chains and he got spit out. That happens sometimes. But now he rolls down, 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 and now he's heading for OB. And we wind up in this strange situation where we're hoping he goes OB so that he can take his 10-foot lie and just put out. Or much more common than a simple spit like that, somebody hits the rim and it stands up and it starts to roll. And for people who haven't thought about it, imagine, we all have the same putt, and Paul puts his, what's your putter?
Takapoo.
Takapoo?
Yeah. It's RPM's putter, by the way.
Okay. Or let's say on
It's a
this hole,
bird.
he's putting with a tui, right?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
putt with a tui.
Yeah.
No, I putt with a Takapu. I did used to putt with a Tui, but
Okay.
something
Anyway,
about the Takapu.
we're all putting with the same disc, same
Yeah.
weight, same plastic,
Takapu.
same degree of wear.
Yeah.
And so Paul puts his, an inch over the rim, and he's in, and it stays, and he's happy. And I put mine an inch below the rim, and I stop and fall down, and I'm going to tap in, and Stian hits the rim, and stands up and rolls 100 feet. I made the worst shot of the three, but Stian's the one who got punished. That's not right. And, we talked about this a lot at the conference at Maple Hill, and we talked about it some more last year. It's not a situation where the punishment is fitting the crime. If anybody deserves I don't deserve punishment. My punishment is I missed my putt. But Stian definitely does not deserve punishment. So, my thought that we discussed was whatever that area is, I think it's at least 10 feet, right? Because you see things hit the rim and they can really jump.
Okay.
To put a ring of sand or the whole thing sand, so that anything that gets to here, now it's gonna fall dead instead of rolling.
And a bonus and a good thing about that sand is you see many courses with a lot of traffic. Sometimes they're forced to move the pin because it gets so muddy of everyone stepping in the same spot under the basket.
Right.
You can put mulch there and wood chips, but that also turns to mud, and you have to take it away and put more, unless you want to just keep building the thing with more mud. So sand just stays sand forever.
Right.
It doesn't compost, or it just stays sand. You might get some grass growing in the sand, but you can take
Right.
that out, but then you don't have to worry about the muddy under the basket, which you do see on many courses.
Right. No, that's Texas, big time, because we don't have in general good soil and good grass, so that foot traffic you do just wind up with mud around the basket. You made an important point yesterday that not all sand is the same.
Mhm.
And some sand will get wet and become hard, and now you're actually you could be making the problem worse. So you need to have the right sand and or maintain it.
So different sand in the pieces of cake, like we also mentioned a little bit, and it is like we said last episode with Simon. I said know your trees, because some trees they can take it when you hit them with the string when you're maintaining, and some other trees, if you take some bark off, they die, and you definitely want that. But if you know your trees, you know you can get in close to some trees. And the same with sand.
You
know your
have
sand.
trees that can be killed by a string trimmer.
Smaller ones,
Oh, small ones. Okay. And
which you want to be bigger.
yes, we do. And so, by the way, this right when all the rollaways became such a big issue, because there were some prominent examples
Yes.
the last couple of years. So that's when I said we really need to get a solution for this. So I've been waiting for the right opportunity to try it, and I apologize because I finally told you you can have this idea. Of course, you were already ahead of me, and we're doing some version of it, but now it's out there for everybody. And if you try it, do sand. What's a bullseye?
3.3 meters or something. How much is that?
Okay,
Yeah.
so 12, between 11 and 12, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and it could be a good way to mark bullseye, and that might be enough. So if you want to try that on your course, let me know if it works. Send an email to tried the sand bullseye idea at houckdesign.com. Or just send it to contact@houckdesign.com.
Or put it in the comments and
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Works.
whatever it takes. I would love to find a version of that works.
We almost named the podcast "We Use Sand."
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but then we thought Halfway Cafe had a better ring.
But the reason for it is because we wanted something that was unique to our place. We didn't want to call it like the Cage or the Chains or the Birdie Man or disc golf terms. We wanted something.
That's
So,
good. Now,
yeah.
knowing you, I'm surprised you didn't consider calling it "We Use This Brand of Sand," and then go to the people who own that brand and work a sponsorship
We don't need.
deal with them.
We don't. We would take sponsorship offers. I think.
Yeah.
Do
If
you have
you've got a great sand,
Let's talk.
Yeah, Sandman. We want you, Mr. Sandman.
Yeah. So
Play me a tune. Huh?
Yeah. Do you? You're like in the 40s now or 50s.
I'm 46.
No. I mean, you're okay.
I get funnier, like,
Look,
I just can't.
I have learned a good amount about both of these guys just being here 2 days. A lot of amazing things about both of them. One of the most amazing is a native Norwegian speaker who makes so many obscure cultural references
right,
in English,
right.
movie quotes, knows vernacular
Yeah.
and idioms. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can't even keep up.
So I think Mr. Sandman is probably from the 1950s.
Probably.
So I think you just quoted a 1950s American song in English, not your native country, not your native language. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So
Next
now,
thing you know, no, that doesn't.
not yet. So now Paul and I are going to quote some Norwegian tunes from the 50s that we really enjoy. We'll edit that in later.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Yeah, I can look that up because probably it's so old that there's no copyright issues.
Probably so.
on those things.
Probably so. All right. What else you got?
Do you have anything else? I have one more question in mind.
We've touched on the stuff that I've had in my notes.
Mhm.
Yep, 100%. Yeah.
Well, I guess I didn't really answer the last question, which was what makes a great green.
Fair one. Oh, sorry, I did it for you.
Fair is important. One couple things that people maybe don't think about. A lot of people historically, when they design, go, "Ooh, that would make a great tee," or "that would make a great basket location." I realized that I was a design nerd when I got more excited about a great landing area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, that's the right size, and it's got Pittsburghs all around it. But you can't have a great basket location unless you also have a great tee 300 feet away or 600 feet away, or what, depending on what level you're designing for. So none of those features exist in isolation, right?
Yeah.
They're part of a bigger feature. And I'll just throw this out there because you guys covered a lot of what makes a great green. One thing is, anytime there's any kind of mound, everybody's reaction is, stick it on top. You rarely see it on the back side or on the side, and those can be really interesting. I thought Eli was great. He made a lot of great points, and when he said how you make the green is a function of the approach shot.
That's right.
Absolutely true. And I find also, when you do that and you make your green, you sometimes need to go back and tweak the approach shot, because the approach shot affects the green, but the green also affects the approach shot. And it seems like we're past for the most part, the small basket debate, which was raging and everywhere in your face several years ago. So let's acknowledge the fact that for top players, circle one is almost a given. I mean, and we all, for the most part, know what's going to happen. We don't really want to watch it. We don't want to spend the time to watch people do it. Now, they do miss sometimes, so there's still some drama, but rather than making putting harder, rather than making the basket smaller, let's use design so that more shots, more good shots, wind up in circle two. Right? So a good
18
shot
here, for instance,
yeah. That's a good example. A good shot makes it to circle two, and only a great shot makes it to circle one. And now people have to putt to earn their birdie. And so one of the things we talked about a little bit when we were on 18, which you correctly pointed out was not the best example of what I was trying to say, but you know, I'm working on some greens where you have a nice big fat close to flat spot that is in circle two, and the basket is maybe on a slope or there's something else that's tricky about it, and so the smart play is to hit the flat spot, and you know, and maybe the flat spot extends into circle one a little bit, so you want to get as close as you can to the edge of it, but you make a good shot, and you're not parked. You're going to have to make a putt. So you know, more holes where circle two is a good shot to solve that problem for the top players. And I don't know about either of you. I didn't see you putt much, but I know being inside circle one for me, with as much as I practice, is not a given. And by the way, I also want to say, I'm not going to reveal the name of the place, at least not at this time, but I was recently at a very highly rated course. After about 6 holes, I finally started putting okay. I had a 30-footer that hit the rim and did this and started rolling, and I looked over and there was rope there, and I was like, oh, go, go, go. So I can say that I had a shot glance off a rim and roll OB at a well-known disc golf facility. So I have had that experience now.
So I guess my final question is if you want to share like your, I did ask you in the woods, but that was more of how, like here, but how do you typically approach a new design like now that you are here? What are the things, without going into too much detail maybe, but what do you look for? Talked a little bit about like the different things, but what's like, how's your mind going? Number
one is see everything, right? Don't, and generally see everything. Don't rely on the aerials, don't rely on the topos. I will say that for most of my career, I considered topo maps pretty worthless, because I had plenty of opportunities where, oh my God, there's this huge, beautiful plateau here, and the topo shows this. But the technology, whatever happens in the world of topo people, has improved to the point where I've done several projects recently where I have really good maps with 1-foot contours or 2-foot contours, and they're typically accurate. So I can use those to say this is probably an interesting place. Let me go look there now. But I've had plenty of times over my career where I'm like, I think I've seen enough. I don't want to go over there. And then, the little voice says, you got to see it all. And you go over there and you're like, thank God I came over here because I saw something great that I wouldn't have seen. So as much as possible, what we're dealing with today, 80 to 100 acres maybe, the whole thing we saw. It's about half your can't convert. Well, that would be about 300 plus more, if that helps.
Probably, yeah.
So it's a big piece of land, hard to see it all. But you do not want to miss opportunities that are out there. You don't want to say, oh, I can do this, and that's going to be good.
So there's really no designing going on.
Well,
time or
no, there's
maybe.
designing going on. Driving down the road, looking out the window at breakfast.
Yeah.
So in that process of seeing everything, you go. It could be a nice landing area. Could be a nice green. Could be a nice tee. There's potential over here. These trees are really interesting. These rock formations, and you're cataloging all that. Maybe you're making notes and putting pins on your map.
It sounds like the slow design movement. Taking your time.
Yes.
Seeing everything.
Take your time. See it all. You can't help having ideas. You try to avoid getting too locked in, right? Every once in a while you'll go, oh my God, I have to have this hole. I think I probably said that a couple times today. It's like, this is so cool, I gotta have it. But you don't ever want to be completely committed.
Interesting.
There's a saying in the, you're an English major, so you might know this.
Okay.
In the literary world, generally attributed to William Faulkner, you have to be willing to kill your little darlings.
I see.
So there might be characters or story elements or something that, or in our case holes, that you're really crazy about, but if you commit to this, you lose out on other things. And it can be really hard, but you have to be willing to let that go for the greater good. So see it all. That's number one. Then go back and the areas that had the great trees or the great rock features or the great topo or water features or potential future water features, then you start working with those and figure out, it's so many trade-offs, right? I love this landing area. I can make it a par 4 here, or I can make it a par 4 here. But if I do this one, that takes me away from here, and I don't get to, So you just go through all that. And this is, in my mind, where patience really cost me a lot of time, but was ultimately worthwhile. I'm working on a really great project in Memphis. Used to be a ball golf course. Beautiful ball golf fairways. It's very hilly with beautiful pre-existing ball golf features like tees built into the hillside. That makes sense for us, maybe as tees, but maybe as greens, maybe as landing areas. But what really makes this property great is there is more woods than there is fairways. So if you have 80 yards of fairways, you may have 100 yards of woods next to it. So it's pretty much going to wind up being a wooded course on a golf property. I mean, obviously we're going to incorporate the golf fairways. It'd be silly not to, because that's going to help with variety and having more tighter and more open and and all that. But I got to the point where I was really happy with the routing and the 18 holes that I had, but I was like, I think we can get a little more out of it. And now I went through 6 versions of the routing to try to make it better. That didn't work, and just kept going back and going back and going back until I'm like, okay, that's finally the one. So a lot of extra design time. And if you think about it, if I hadn't done that, people are still going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to know that something was missed except me. But that is not to say that people playing it the way it wound up aren't going to be happier and enjoy the experience more than if we didn't. And we talked about this a little bit this week. The principle that came from Frederick Olmsted, the great parks designer, that you want the end product to look like you were not really involved, like it was there the whole time. So if I get good at what I do, people will really enjoy the course and maybe not even know why, and not even be able to say why. And some people will look at the course and go, well, I mean, what did he do?
Yeah.
It was already here.
Yeah.
What what's the big deal? So that's a little bit of a double-edged sword.
Same with editing, like I said, and also
Yes.
same with when I'm doing a commercial or whatever for a company, or like sometimes I'm like, oh, I have 2 shots that are, I love both, but I know I have to kill one of them, or I should, or I can't, because what we're trying to achieve is something. And I think with the practice, you get, when you do this in not just the course design, but also like me with editing, it gets easier. Your trigger finger is, you want to have more ammunition, and you want to, gunslinger.
Yeah, I
almost.
think if you do it more, it gets easier to make those decisions quicker because you've done it so many times. But I think it also gets easier to be patient because you know that ultimately that's going to be worth it.
And also the emotions for this particular hole, or might be, you can let the emotions go easier because there's a greater good, or
Right. So, I said in the beginning 4 hours ago. I hope people.
there's dinner soon also.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's designing is a real creative thing for me, but if I do my job well, then playing it is a creative experience for the players, right? And
I like that.
and we don't want players to think like, I have my thumb on the scale and I'm forcing them to do this and I'm forcing them to do that, because that's psychologically, nobody enjoys that, and that's not where you want to be. And that is one of the really important differences between rope and water, right? So you can have a hole that has great water features, or you could theoretically have the exact same hole with the same water feature, but it's made out of rope, but it's not the same. I mean, it may play the same, but it sure doesn't feel the same. It's not mentally the same. Now I'm a foot into the OB area and it's dry, and I'm like, I'm dry. I want to be able to throw, but you, Mr. Designer, you're telling me what to do. Who are you? You know, I don't answer to the man. But if it's a water feature, whether it was already there, you know, God put it there, or the designer put it there, it has a completely different feel. And if the designer does it right, it looks like, you know, it was always there.
Yeah.
So it's a big, because you know, it's a psychological game.
Yeah.
And so those psychological factors are important. So
We looked at the tree on our potentially hole 18 today, and we both ranged it mentally at 345. I said 345, you said 350,
yeah.
and you pulled out your magic wizardy wand, and it was 290. Because we were looking across the Chan,
Yes.
the slightly bigger pond
Yes.
at the tree. So water has...
Yep. And I mean, some properties. I've had some properties where every time I estimate the difference, the distance, and I check it, I'm short. And other properties where every time I'm long.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain that. But that's, you know, that's another part of the experience for the player, is, you know, being able to judge that stuff. So.
Well, I hear both of you hinting at the artistry of the thing. You going through multiple revisions with the editing, and being patient enough to see many different revisions of the layout or the routes.
Right.
And yeah, to me that hints at what makes you a great designer and what makes you a great filmmaker. Is that you're willing to go through these revisions.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think, as far as I know now, we're going to credit you with the phrase "slow design," and you can be the father of the slow design movement. You know, but it's true in any industry, any part of human life, right?
Yeah.
You can do things quickly and efficiently, and off you go.
Be the Monday man.
You can be the Monday man, and you know, you do it on Monday, and you move on. You know, I'm not saying that's an unreasonable way to do things,
Yeah.
or you can spend more time and keep refining it. And you know, people make the case. I just kind of made the case myself. That you can spend all this extra time for a small additional benefit, but I think generally it looks from the outside or on the surface like a small benefit, but it's a bigger benefit than we realize. So that's the way I've chosen to pursue my profession, is by spending more time and just trying to, I guess you would say, I think that it can always
Be better. Well, that brings us kind of to the end of the episode.
I think so now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I could say one more thing, I
Yeah.
just want to give credit where credit's due. I get to spend that extra time on the course and on the process, and I get these opportunities to work in all these amazing places, and I gotta say, none of that would be possible without my business partner and wife, who takes care of all those things,
Yeah.
and educating and you know, you've been dealing with her for a long time, and you and Dee can exchange dozens of messages before I even like, I'm off the course and now I get involved. So
And I think our first call was when you were on the course. I was in the car coming back from Holland.
That sounds right. So, you know, I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this, and you know, grateful to God, but grateful to Dee, because she, you know, people always look at Houck design and say, "Oh, John, look what John did. John did this. John
Yeah.
did that." And most of the time, it's not me.
Yeah, you guys are a great team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are a team. We do it all together. We have a essentially, she does this part and I do this part, but
So she's part of this podcast too, even though she's not
she
here.
is, and and if you invite me back, if I'm here again, then she should be here too. She's very
We have
eager
room
to
in
come
the
back.
couches. And,
Yeah. And I'm sure it's been a pleasure having you. I've
Thank you.
couple days with you, and I feel like we're friends because you're just so gracious, and I'm sure Dee is the same, and so we.
Oh my God!
On behalf of everyone in Norway who plays disc golf, I'm sure they welcome you here with an open arms and an open heart, and you guys reciprocate with the same vibes. So it's been fantastic having you
Thank
here.
you,
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah.
It's been great to start the process of getting to know you.
Yeah.
He's obviously a great guy. This man, not just remarkable achievements and success and doing good in the world, but also a very, very cool guy. And something almost happened between us. But
I'm not a hugger, and I almost gave him a hug.
Yes, amazing, amazing.
that's how good this part of the property was.
I'm getting messages from Lena now that the
Dinner.
kids are waiting with food, and
And let's give thanks and credit to Lena also.
the boss,
Thank
the
you,
wife.
thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you to the audience, and thank you for joining us for the first season of Halfway Cafe. It's been a lot of fun, and join us for the second season, because
it can always be better. Perfect. You just gotta get out of Schengen and then back in.
yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. Also, we should watch the film from the event here. It just
you're gonna love it.
released.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
really?
24 minutes
with
of
the
pure
screen. Yeah.
joy. Yeah.
Oh, great.
But now
Thank you,
for
guys.
Oh, thank you for sitting through that marathon.
Thank
and
you,
giving
thank you.
all of the
Oh,
brilliant answers.
I'm the one who made it a marathon.